In this quick exercise, I'm going to show you how easy it is to build a rather complex looking organic bench like this with using T-splines and the parametric modeling, the timeline in Fusion 360. So here we have an image which we will bring in. Then there we have a T-spline shell which we will sculpt. And then step by step, we will add a thickness to the shell. There we are. Add more details, ribs, make an array, round the array, remove the array from this body, which I'm going to remove. Add more elements, modify them, cut, and then we will round the edges. Very good. And then I will show how to export everything and also how we can do a very basic scene rendering right inside this program. Okay, let's do it. Before we get started, let's set up our design to be interactive. So I'll right click on the root and say capture design history. Now here we have the history. Then right click onto or not right click, left click onto the unit system, and then we go to inches. There we are. Let's go to a side view. Canvas, insert. Here's my image. This image I have downloaded. The link to this is in the description of this video. Click open. Click on this plane. Okay, there we are. Open the folder, right click, calibrate. Kind of like between there and there, along the z-axis plus minus, that should be 16 inches. Then we can zoom out, right click, edit canvas, and move this one up there. And we can try to not necessarily center her, but move her a little bit to the right side. Okay, very good. Now let's go to create form, and we will create a box on this plane. Somewhere on this green axis, I click and drag something out. So this can be 24 inches, tab 16 inches, for example. Very good. Yep, this looks good. So I can see with 24 inches width, I have enough surface to sit on. Click OK. Now select the front faces, press delete. Rotate, select the back faces and press delete. Then I can double click this set of edges, go to edit form, move this out a little bit. Double click, move this out a little bit. Very good. Now what I can do is I will select the lower two edges and, for example, move them up just a notch, like this. Click OK. Very nice. Maybe double click, modify. I'm going to scale this in just a little bit, like this. Good. I would like to have a symmetry. So go to symmetry, mirror duplicate this one along this yellow plane there. Okay, finish form, done. So now we have actually a new body. And if you notice, the timeline down here captures actually what we do. Here's a marker. I can click and drag it backwards and forwards. Let's go to solid, create, thicken. This shell I would like to be 2 inches to the inside. This is good. On top, that looks nice. Down here, this doesn't look as nice. So right click onto edit form. I'm going to modify everything a little bit more. These 2 points, for example, I would like to go in more. So I can go edit form, select these points, scale there. Make this a little bit more organic. Okay, finish form. Yeah, this looks actually much more refined, nicer. Cool. So you see, this is actually very interactive. So if I select these edges, just for giggles and push this down, we can see the ghost image of the previous model. Click OK, click Finish, and then it updates it for us. And I click Undo, and Undo, and yeah, Finish Form, and we're back at the previous stage. So that's actually kind of like a quick introduction what parametric modeling is. It's very structured. I start and then I continue working, and I can always go forward and backwards and edit elements. So let's continue. I will create here a sketch. There. Rectangle, and somewhere here and there I will create a 2-inch wide rectangle. A little bit under this part. There we are. Very good. I can select this line, D 2 inches. Thank you. I can select this line with D 12 inches. Very good. Finish form. Finish sketch, I mean. Let's go to extrude. I can extrude this out each way, left and right, symmetry, but I would like this as a new body first. Very good. And you will see why new body in a moment. I would like to have more of these cuts in a repetitive pattern. So, rectangular pattern of this body along this direction. I can move this one out, and now I should pay attention really closely to how this snaps to the grid. So you see there's a small cube. So this might be, let's see, 28.5. Or actually, we need to see what the distance is. What's about 29 inches? Let's go with 28 inches for the moment first. Okay, so that's a good value exercise. Let me go back to here. I go to this sketch. So I can now, for example, move this whole thing simply to this grid. You see this is a bigger grid line. This is easier to possibly to work with. There. Okay, nice. Finish sketch. And there, now see here, this is the grid line. That's the one I want. Right click, edit feature, bring this over. Yeah, 29 inches. Okay, then let's actually start adding more points. Spacing, I have actually activated. I want to have extend to 29 inches. So I have to adjust the value here. So you see 29 divided, multiplied by 2 is 58 there. And then I can add more points. Easy peasy. So I have like from here to there, 58 of a distance, and I put 16 pieces in between. I can, of course, also simply say spacing, have just -3 inches. So there's always 1 inch of a gap, 2 inches for the piece. We want to see how can I fill this thing. The reason why I went with extend is simply now I can use the grid. See this correctly, 28. So left and right is perfect, and then I can fill evenly the space in between. Click OK. Very good. Now I click combine and say U minus U, Alt Shift, and I select all these extra cubes, or maybe till there. With Shift, I can select those also in the browser, as you can see. do not keep tools. I want them to be removed. Very good. Now, these two pieces here, I would like to grow up. So push pull, go up. So they're bigger. And then I do another combine and say you minus this one and this one. Then now I have a nice clean look. You see that? Much better. The inside I would like to round. So I can go with my timeline marker back. There we are. And then maybe this one I hide. This one I hide. And this one I hide. This canvas anyway. Then I go to this view. Select only body edges. Left mouse button click. Drag to the left. You see then all these edges are selected. I give this a rounding 1 inch. Enter. And then when I show all this again and scroll forward, you see how it updates it for me. Isn't that amazing? Maybe these arcs are not too aggressive. I could right click onto the fillet, edit feature, and say, well, what about 1/2 inch? Yeah, now this looks better. This and this edge we can round 1 inch. Let's see. This is too big. 0.5. This is good. Then holding on a Mac the command key, and I think on a PC it's a control key, I can add these edges to it. So now the inside is being rounded too. Beautiful. And then I could, from each cut here, select one edge. I don't have to select all edges. And this is more like a finishing step. I do a fillet, 0.25, 1/4 inch. Yeah, this looks good. Nice and soft, not too hard. And we can click OK. Might take a moment to calculate. And beautiful. We actually modeled a kind of organic looking bench with a straight top. The bottom part goes up, so it might actually swivel a little bit. Let's add the material to it. We can go to render. Now this is actually black. Let's go to appearances. Then we scroll down to plastic and opaque. Actually here, this red glossy, this is beautiful. Very good. Close it. Let's go to scene setup, environment. We have, for example, here an interesting set of environments or snowfield. Let's make this in a snowfield. Very good. Background we set to environment. Looks like the snowfield isn't being used yet, so double click. Now we have the snowfield. Very nice. Very good. Now we can adjust our view. We can zoom out, zoom in with the mouse wheel a little bit and hit canvas render. And now we're creating a rendering of this piece inside this environment. Now the whole purpose of this exercise was to introduce you to parametric modeling. Now we can create a quick rendering of this product. And when the design is done, then we can go to File, Export, or we can simply right click onto here, Save as Mesh, OBJ for meter, when this is being brought to a program like Blender, or Export and then SketchUp. Give this a name to the desktop, and then we export this design as a SketchUp file, so we can load this into SketchUp. To bring this to an end, I would like to go back and talk about the timeline one more time. The parametric modeling demonstration showed you the great potential because it's very interactive. The downside, however, is it's also very strict. I have step 1, step 2, step 3. It has to go in a particular order. So if I want to round these edges, I can't just go and say, here, this feature that does this cut, I will delete. Because if I do this, now the software will tell me, then the rest of these commands don't really work anymore. Sometimes these features can also be orange or red. Red means it's broken. Best is right click, delete, rebuild. If it's orange, something got lost. So for example, if I click right click, edit feature, and for example, these edges are gone, I can just then go ahead and reassociate, that's the term for it, these edges. And click OK. The filleting, you will see, takes a moment to process, which is why I do this type of filleting always at the end of a timeline. That's a general rule. And also, here we still have this surface. So this surface I created after the thicken command. So only after the thicken command does it make sense to remove that surface. Not delete, because then it's gone. Just remove. If you click delete, out of the whole design, the object will be removed. And then when I go back, there we are. Cool. Okay, there's obviously a lot more to the timeline. YouTube is also full with a lot of other great videos. But this is a good compact introduction into what it means to work with the timeline, because literally everything I can now adjust, the shape of the T-spline body, the distance of these gaps. Maybe to fix this, I could go right click and say, this is actually too tiny. So maybe I do the following. When this is the cut, the amount of cuts is good, but I will change actually this to 1 inch. Thank you. And you see now the design looks a little bit different. Oh, look at this. Now here a fillet is actually broken. So this is good. This happened. So I was just adjusting the design. This, for example, feels maybe more solid. So if I go with my time marker in front, there we are. This fillet was supposed to round what? I'm going to right click, edit. So it rounds all of these tiny elements there. Okay. I have here one piece that is extra. You see now this issue is gone. And this piece, I can right click and say remove there. Okay, very good. No, I didn't really adjust or perfect here. This part, edit rectangular pattern. So I see this starts here and then it ends there. So maybe this I have to bring over to there to make this really accurate. So looks like 59 inches there. Very good. The timeline here will complain in a moment. It's okay. Now it's rebuilding everything. And oh, where's everything? Well, I have a remove command, and it properly just removed the whole body. So this command got slightly confused. So I right click and say delete it. And then there, I corrected my design, make it look more stronger. Also here, everything goes straight up really fast. If I go to edit, maybe these edges, I will simply move over a little bit. You see how the bottom part I'm stretching slightly. And I could click OK, and then the whole design will be adjusted. I'm not going to do this because I would have to recalculate everything, but I hope that at this point actually you start understanding what this timeline is about. It is just simply collecting a sequence of steps. Sometimes it breaks, and then we simply have to figure out how do we repair it. And this understanding comes with time and practice. That's it.